Hello everybody, Walter here. Welcome to episode 39 of Mark's channel included Let's Play series with the Spaced Out and DLC. In the previous episode we teamed the 3 Magma volcanoes on our main asteroid, and today I would like to do some targeted ranching and farming, but before I can start with that I actually need to land on another asteroid. So with that said, let's jump back into the game and get started with that. And here we are back at the third thema from last time, which is still pumping out the magma from the previous eruption via the surface pump. But, as I said, my target for today is another asteroid, namely the one we found last time, Asteroid. And if we go onto the space map, you can see it down here. Now this has some very interesting resources I'm going to need for 3 achievements, so I'm going to have to land. And for that I need to get to my rocket over here. And I need to make a little change to the crew, namely Pi is out. And Ellie Ranch is in. I also should make sure Ellie is allowed to actually eat the berry sludge. So Ellie Ranch, berry sludge. Okay. Then crew, we need a target, which is the orbit. And then we can also start with the launch. And while I'm in here, I might as well set this here to none, because my dupes will remain a few days on other release. So, let's just speed this up a bit, and there is Gosman. So we should see this launching in just a few seconds. And there we go. Okay, now, next up. As I said in the previous episode, there is still a little bit of cleanup to be done at the very bottom left corner here. Namely, I need to deal with this really hot mess of obsidian tiles and the magma above it, and also some molten gold, which is the result of my dupes carrying gold and deciding to take a bath in the magma. Yeah, but first I'm actually going to close this here off with one more manual airlock right in this spot here, because I no longer have a source of magma for this here to work, since the volcanoes are all tamed and no longer available. But I don't really see a problem with about 6 kilotons of magma in there. Yeah, this is going to take thousands of cycles before this here actually gets cold enough for me to have to do anything about this. Although I will still prepare beforehand a solution to that. But as I said, first I need to get this manual airlock in there, and then close this off just like this here. Now, next up is putting in a steam chamber, and since this here is too hot for steam turbines to deal with, I'm going to have to split that actually. So first I need a layer of metal tiles out of steel, right here. Then in the middle I'm going to need a 6 wide gap, which will be filled with mechanized airlocks. Of course in the correct position. Then I'm going to need some automation wire. So those here. Then those here. I will need a thermal sensor there. And a signal switch here. Then I will need some power wire. And that one I can run all the way to over here. And yeah, let's grab a large transformer, place it there, connect here, and connect there. Okay, that is the power requirements on the inside here. Then I will also need an insulated tile to either side here. And before I forget about it, I'm going to need a liquid vent at a slightly higher priority, so it's built first. Then to over there, then igneous rock up there, and this is the way to get the water in here for the steam chamber later on, once all of this here is closed up. And now it's time for the second steam chamber, but first I need another 2 layers of doors here, with the bottom layer being prioritized. I also have to get rid of these ladders here at the top. They are simply in the way. Now, next up I need a layer then of metal tiles, and here I can actually go with gold. And it should be 15 wide. Let's see. Yeah, that works out quite nicely. Then insulated tiles to the side and the top. Over here the same. I will need a couple of ladders so I can get in there. Then one layer above I have my steam turbines. And here, close this off to the side. I will also need to get rid of this one here. Then, let's see. Okay, let's start planning out the steam turbines. So output here, output there, output there. This one here goes down. Then I connect those two and put in the bridge there. Then I can put the last one here later on. Over here, I'm going to need some active cooling. So I need the aqua tuner connected. I will also need a couple liquid bridges there. So input is this one here, then I have the output here. First going over. Then going over here, connecting there. Then bridge here. And another bridge there. That should be all of the piping done, except I still need to get some liquids in here. So let's go with a pipe over there. That is looking pretty good already. Now, while my dupes are working on that, and I could in theory already put in the first steam turbine here. So, now, but as I was saying, we found in the intermediate time Scorchola, the last missing planetoid, but I'll deal with that in the next episode, I would say. And we also have reached Adelarius. So now let's first land our two dupes. Let's start with Guzman. And let's see, where is the best spot? Yeah, this looks like this best spot over there. Then I need Ellie. And now Guzman is on its way. Then I can send Ellie down. And now let's plan out a few things. First I need some materials for ladders. I also need to get rid of the landers. And let's see. Yeah, that looks quite decent already. So I'm going to dig down straight here. This needs to be deconstructed. Then I will need a couple ladders going up from the bottom up to this spot there. I will also need the rocket platform over here and the two ladders so everything can be reached. Now this here should be done with the highest priority. And come on, Guzman. Okay, Guzman is building the important part. Good. Let's just speed this up a bit until I have landed the rocket. And there we go. With the rocket now landed, I should have access to a few more materials. So I'm going to start with a pneumatic door right there. Then next to that, I'm going to put in a grooming station right here and turn this into a temporary ranch, because for a couple of my achievements, I need to get a Gasimu tamed. I will also need to get my hands on the gas grass in here. 6 should be actually more than enough for what I am planning with that. So I don't really need to do anything down here for now. And I should also make my way over there to get my hands on these artifacts here. So I'm just going to dig my way up there. And that is pretty much all I need. And those I can then manually move into the rocket for later, as well as the gas glass. And the main idea here is, as I said, to get a few more achievements. Now, let's have a quick look over on the Beno. Okay, this is all now cleared out, so I can, for one, put in the second aqua tuner, or the aqua tuner, and the second steam turbine at the top. I will also need some liquids, so let's plan in a bottle emptier for now. And yeah, you know the drill. First this needs to be built, then I need to put in some water at the bottom. And I almost forgot about the liquid vent here, which can be iron ore, for example. And then I close this off, put in a water layer here, and close this off too. And down here, I may want to add an insulation layer too. So even if I lose my vacuum on the outside here, I'm not exposing this heat here to my normal base, which would be a bit of a problem. And about 3 cycles later, actually, we have our first gassy moo tamed. So I can now get rid of this grooming station here again. Similarly, the pneumatic door, it's no longer needed. Everything else is already in the rocket. Just going to get the gold amalgam here back into the rocket, and then I'm going to send them off because there's actually a decent amount of radiation in the air, and my dupes are getting sick pretty quickly already. So yeah, I'm going to, as I said, just going to grab myself the gold amalgam and bring everything back to the main base then. So that was the last few bits. Now, target obviously is the main base. Going to send them off. And now we have, this moment at least, done with this asteroid here. We may come back later at a later point, but for now I don't really have anything else I need from here. But let's actually have a look at the 2 achievements we just got. So what did we get? We got the Critter Whisperer, which is finding and taming one of every critter species in the world. This means the default morphs only, and only the ones without the DLC. So as you can see, those 10 types of critters over here, and the last one missing was the gassy moo, and there is one more moving on up, which is finding and taming a gassy moo specifically. And that are, as I said, 2 achievements in one go. And with that said, let's have a look how we are faring over here. Now, I had some issues with some of those metal tiles here actually melting, which was a bit of a problem. But with the last tile then in place, I should be pretty much ready to get this thing here properly going. And there we go, everything is now working as intended. I had 2 little accidents while building this. For one, the Therm Aqua Tuner overheated a bit in the beginning, so it's a bit damaged, but it works just fine as is. And for the other, when I was pouring in the petroleum, I still had some rather hot debris lying in here, and I produced some sour gas with that. Fortunately, those chambers here were already closed up, so I'm not having any issues with that. And yeah, with that said, we've lost our vacuum over here, so I can also get rid of this barrier. And I can also, while I'm here, get rid of this liquid block there. So let's just pump that into a reservoir. For example, let's see, yeah, over here. This needs to go. Just going to increase the priority of all of this here a bit. And then I can put in, first of all, the power. And then, let's speed this up a bit until the dupe comes by. Don't want to waste too much time over here. Just going to put in a liquid reservoir here in a moment. So, and then I can pump this out, get rid of the liquid reservoir then, and then I have everything in bottles automatically. And I also don't need this here anymore. Let's just make sure I'm only removing the buildings. So I don't need this here anymore. And you can unequip the suit. Of course, we are now producing a little bit of overpressure in the oxygen, since those were full of that. But for the most part, this is pretty much done. Okay, so now in the intermediate time, our Conqueror landed, and I've already prepared this storage bin here to move the 12 gas cars I actually collected over to the main or secondary asteroid. So that's that part done too. Now I'll wait with the conquering of the last planetoid for later, but let's have a look. Okay, I can send off this one here. Let's first select a proper target. This still needs a bit of time. Yeah, let's go down there. So this one here goes down there. Begin launch. I have my explorer who is going to get the artifact from over there. And now, with all of this done, it's time to have a look at Dribbling, because I need to make a few more changes over here. For one, you can see I added already the gas pumps here to remove the chlorine atmosphere. I also, while I was here, already added a gas pump over here to remove the atmosphere from here, because this blob of ice here is cold enough to actually freeze out my beta hives here, and I want to avoid that, obviously, in case I need to replace those here at any point in the future. And yeah, that is just the way to go here. Now, as I was saying, I need to modify the setup here. And the first change I need to make, at least once the game unfreezes, is getting rid of a couple buildings, namely these here and these here. I can also get rid of a little bit of the power infrastructure, namely that wire there. And what I will also have to do is get some heavy watt conductive wire in here. And I think I don't have a dupe currently over on Dribbling who can build those. So I'm going to move over Ruby. I moved him back to Albino a while ago while I was taming the Magma volcanoes, since I wanted a bit more workforce over here. But now it's needed back on Dribbling. So let's just wait until the saving is done. And yeah, Duplicant is ready to go. Let's teleport them over. And now they are here. And of course they're taking a break. Yeah. While I'm here, let's just make sure I have enough food being brought over from the kitchen. So what is the current setup? Okay, that should be enough for 3 tubes. Shouldn't be an issue. Okay, this is all on their way. That's looking good. This is also all still running as intended. I may want to make some more tungsten though. Or do I? I think I already have a decent amount of tungsten made. I don't need that one at the moment, I think. So, okay, I now have the beginnings of some free space, so I'm going to go with some window tiles. Just going straight over. And someone should sweep that out ASAP. I'm losing my vacuum again. That is not the way it's supposed to go. Now, let's replace them. I need one here. I need one there. And I also need one of these in this spot here. This one will also need some power. Let's go with over here. I will also need to get some power to the top here. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Yeah, I'm going to get rid of this one here first. And then I am going to also get rid of this one here. And this one over here. And then I'm going to place a couple of those joint plates. One here, one there, one here. Then I can run the wire through here, then through and up here. And that is where I'm going to need all of this power wire later on. Of course, I'm going to add a couple bridges here. And those should be built first, of course. And then I can, once those are in place, disconnect the wires. And to speed this up a bit, I added a third pump over here. And to get some space, moved this over to the right, since now it's time for the sun lamps, which are needed since, well, gas needs a bright light source, and underground that is usually the sun lamps, which are rather power hungry, which is the reason for this wire over here. Now, as usual, I need to bridge over here, cut off, and then prioritize. So. And people, you should get rid of this bleach stone here, since that upgassing is not really what I'm looking for. But anyway, let's have a look. Gas grass needs light, then it needs dirt, and it needs liquid chlorine. So let's first plant those in here. Then I will also need the dirt, so I'm going to put in a storage tile at the top there. I hope this will not remove the access to light for those two. Shouldn't be an issue. Even if it's just two, it's not a real problem. But anyway, next up on the agenda is getting the liquid chlorine. Now, usually what you would want to do is, for example, use this ethanol here, run it through an aqua tuner to cool down some chlorine and liquefy it. But I have a whole area down here that is already very, very cold. Cold enough to obviously create liquid chlorine, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is build a little chamber here, which is just getting this cold here into the chlorine. So, but for that to work out, I am going to start with a setup. Let's see, where do I want to build this? Yeah, let's say this here will be the chamber. This will be the bottom of the chamber. Now I need a liquid lock to get in here properly. Like so. Then keep that open. I'll need the pedestal here, although I might actually already have some portions of liquid naphtha lying around, so I can just move that in place. No need for building of unnecessary components. Now I'm going to keep this open here for a moment until I have the temp shift plate out of aluminium down here in place. I will also need another one at the top there. But first I'll need to get this layer in, get this layer in, and then I'm going to dig down here. And now it's time for the internals. So I'm going to start with the gas input, which is a simple gas vent right there. Then I need a shutoff above that, connected like so, to cut off the input when I have enough liquid chlorine waiting. I am going to add a hydro sensor, which needs to be bridged over, like so, because I will have my liquid pump right in this spot here, and I don't want to turn off the liquid pump with the gas. Now, gas input will come from over here, from this pipe there. So, now I would like to avoid anything exchanging heat in here, so I'm going with insulated pipes, and then I'm switching to normal pipes. Then let's see if I go straight down here and then straight over. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now just now another gas bridge, and that is all I need over here for the gas flow downwards. Now for the liquid going up, I'm going to actually add a liquid meter in here, connect that with the pump, then connect it up. And here I'm considering using ceramic. I am already preparing to move some more ceramic over, so I should be able to do that. I have about 50 pipes worth of ceramic. Let's see, do I get all the way to the top here? Almost, so yeah, it should be doable. So, as I was saying, I am going for now to follow this pipe here, and then for some reason this decided to do stupid stuff. Okay. No, okay, now the pipes are back to where they are, should be. Now, basically I'm going to run the pipe up here and then through here along this edge and then in here. Yeah, I'm also going to disconnect here and here. And I'm just going to put in enough chlorine for those 10 plants here. Not more, not less. That should be all I need. So I need a bridge here. I will also need a bridge here and there. And cut it off here. This bridge should be prioritized to be built first, and then all I need to do is add, once I have the ceramic, those missing pieces of pipe. Yeah, that looks good. Now, down here, I still need a couple other things. For one, I need power and automation for the meter here. So first of all, let's have a look. I want this here to be connected like so. Then this one here up. And this one here goes up like so. And there is a reason why I'm doing it like that. Because I need... Is it under automation or is it under power? Ah, it's under power. Okay. I need this power shut off here. And more or less the last part missing here is the automation. So let's start by adding a timer sensor right here. Then I need a filter gate towards the bottom. And the timer sensor can actually be out of iron and not gold, which is a limited resource on this asteroid here at least. Then, to the right, I need a buffer gate first, then a NOT gate. And that's already all of the gates I need to put in. So just going to connect these in a linear fashion like so. And now it's time for the proper settings. So I need a green signal here for 2 seconds. And a red signal for 598 seconds, so the rest of 1 cycle. I'm just going to set this one here to 1 second and this one here also to 1 second. And that is all I need, so let's quickly pause and reset the timer. So what I want to see is when the timer turns on, this one here turning off first, then I get a short pulse in here, and then this one here turns on again. And that works out perfectly. So, and we have the liquid naphtha in here, but still vacuum, so this is not an issue at all. So let's connect here. I'm for now disconnecting the pump. I just want to have a bit of liquid chlorine in here before I turn on the pump. And there is also the hydro sensor still to be turned on. And we should see the first bit of chlorine coming in and directly turning into liquid chlorine. Very nice to see that. And the liquid pump obviously still needs to cool down, as will the rest of this here. But for the most part, this is now just going to take a little while. And once I have enough chlorine, I'm going to provide it at the top here. Another thing I should do though, is for one closing off here and then closing off here. So if anything off gases in there, I just need to evacuate this chamber here with the gas pump, which should be much faster than all of this here with those 3 gas pumps. And this here at the top, I'm going to close off and then open up at the top, since these here actually need to be cooled down, and without an atmosphere this is a bit difficult. So yeah, that is the reason I need to separate this chamber at the top there. And with everything in its proper place, it's now time to actually test this out. So connecting the light, so that is already dealt with. And yeah, that is enough chlorine to deal with this. And I also should turn on the meter here for 5 kilograms. And the pump 2. So that should now all work. And now let's just... Why did you separate this? The pump did stupid stuff, okay. Well, let's just use this as a little bit of a test case, and if this is going to work, you can see it's slowly getting warmer over time, but we should be safe with this here. Yeah, that's looking good. And that is looking very good actually. Okay, so those are now growing. I have some liquid chlorine in here. Doesn't this off gas? Okay, Apparently it doesn't off-gas if it's getting too warm. What happens, or what can happen though, is when it freezes, or the liquid in here freezes, then it would actually turn into a tile on the outside. But apparently, liquids remain liquid and don't turn into gases. Okay, something learned anew. Okay. So, those are also cool enough. That is looking good. I might want to close this off though, since I have rather warm atmosphere on the outside and I don't need to heat the cooling loop with that one additionally. Okay, that is looking good and means we're not running into any issues here. Okay, now let's have a look. How are we over there? Yeah, this is cooling down slowly but surely. Very nice to see that. And with that said, I think it's time to work a bit in the direction of the next major project, which I will work on in the, well, somewhat distant future. And that is one major project in this area here. But the first step for that is, since I needed space, moving this one here onto the other side. Like in this here. Now in this media time we have a problem over here. The miner just landed. Yeah. And, well, boiled off some of the materials lying around, so it's not currently getting serviced. So we have to worry about this before we continue on further to the left. But with that in mind, let's continue building the outer perimeter, which is the first thing that needs to be placed. And there are basically just two spots where I can put it in. One is in this area here, where it fits in perfectly, or where I actually made it to fit in perfectly for, or somewhere here on the right. But I really want it on the left in this area here. So let's get started. I am going to need insulated tiles over here to this spot, which should be 25 in width. Yep. Then I need to go 40 down, which is up to this spot here. Then I need to go all the way to over here, which should be 18. Yep. Then 7 up, over, until a certain point. Now let's continue at the top here. First I need to go 7 up here, 4 up here. 4, yeah. Then over a total of 29. It's up to this spot. Then 4 down again. And then to this spot, which should be a total of 13. Yeah. And then from here, 40 down again. Up to this spot here, I think. Yeah. Then down here, I'm 14 wide, which is one further. And then I'm just going to close this off. So that's the general shape. Now a few modifications I need to do. For one, these 3 and those 4 here. Then this whole layer down here. And then at least, I would say, 6 in width here. Those need to be replaced with ceramic, since it's getting extremely hot in this area here later on. But I don't think I have enough ceramic for that. No, I don't have that. So what I'm going to do is put a couple normal tiles in place here, and then later on, once I have the required ceramic, I'm going to replace them with the corresponding material. Now, next up, down here, I obviously need to get in, and this will be in this corner here. So first I need a 5x6 area in this corner here. Then at the bottom layer, I need first metal tiles, a bit further out. Then next layer, a gap there. Then one of those joint plates in this spot. I will also need some insulated tiles out of igneous rock going up here. And then this one here is the ceiling of the liquid lock in here later on. Then I will have next to that the next joint plate. Those I already can connect through here. And then, yeah, just going to go straight down here. bridge there. Disconnect here, and of course the bridge needs to be built first. Okay, then I will need some petroleum in here. So that is the first important thing, and this spot is not reachable, so let's leave that empty for the moment. I also need to get rid of these ladders here. I will for now need a ladder to get up there, so that can be this one here. I will also need to go up at this height, and let's use the granite all the way to the top here. That's looking good so far. The actual internals will follow at a later point. I will also need a couple of ladders here, I just saw. But first of all, I need to get this outer layer, and more specifically, I need to prioritize really this central layer down here. I want to get this built at least in this episode here. Now with the crude oil in place, it's time to finish with the liquid lock with those two tiles. Over here, I am going to put in the corresponding atmosuit checkpoint with 2 atmosuits. You know what? I'm actually going to increase this to 4. There is a lot of work to be done over there. So this one here, the power wire also needs to go. And this one here. And this conductive bridge needs to go. I need it replaced in this spot here. Then I need to reconnect here. The bridge needs to be done first, of course. Because now I can go 2 further and then down here and disconnect there. Then this part, and now for the oxygen. Let's see, I already have the oxygen here. Then I'm just going to run this like so. That should be enough for this checkpoint here. Now over here, I need another checkpoint, or another liquid lock to be more precise, and that will be actually a 3-way, so it's actually a bit further or a bit wider. Then I have right here. This one, well, let's keep it open for now so I have better gas exchange. Then this over there. I need a connection with the wire over there, and then I need a bottle emptier here and another one there. And my plan is to put in a couple bottles of petroleum and then enough crude oil so the petroleum lands in this corner and this corner here, and the rest is filled up with crude oil. And a couple cycles later, our farming setup already proved successful. We have our first gas and grass seeds that were mutated, which means we also now have a third achievement for today, which is the GMO AOK achievement, which means all of the seeds that can be mutated have been mutated and analyzed, which took a decent amount of time, but that for one means I don't need this setup here anymore. So for now, I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm just going to set this here to 0. And I'm also going to turn off the lamps. And that is all I need to do to turn this off. I may come back to this at a later point, but for now I don't need this anymore. Now, next on the agenda, over here, the second liquid lock is basically done. Now I need the ladders in the middle. And that's all I want to do here for now. I'm also still waiting a bit on some more ceramic because I would like to finish this party up. And the last thing I would like to start with today is actually evacuating this big chamber here, which is still being partially closed up. And for that, I am just going to put in a couple gas pumps, maybe in those 2 spots. Just going to run the wire or the pipe out to somewhere around here. And why is this ceramic? Why the hell? Sometimes this game does really strange stuff. So, then high pressure vent. And now finally for the power, I'm just going to grab myself that from down here. And run it all the way to the top here and then over. And parts of this here I might actually have use for later on. But as I said, now I just need to get this here done and also this part here closed off. And the outer shell is done and the pumps are already pumping out the atmosphere. Now, the next step for this build here is just waiting until I have a vacuum in there, which is going to take a decent while. So next time we're going to work on a few other things. The first of which is dealing with an issue that cropped up in the intermediate time, namely my dupes getting scalded when they use those ladders here, because, well, I'm pumping magma through pipes that for the most part are out of igneous rock, and that is just not good enough an insulator to avoid boiling the atmosphere. So, as you can see, I already put down the building orders for the ceramic pipes, but since I am pretty much out of ceramic, that is going to take a while until I have that produced. So, next time, I'm going to work on a cooling solution for this left side of my base. And with that, we've reached the actual end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and comment if you did so. It really helps with the algorithm. Independent of that, I wish you a nice day, and well, see ya!